today the big question we're going to discuss is Web 2 to Web 3, what, when, and how. And I'd like to welcome my panel on stage. Vanshika Srivastava is a tech evangelist and Web3 creator. Vanshika. Chandan Kumar, head of client development, Bitbns. Utkarsh, Garg, Web3 ecosystem head, entrepreneur media, APAC. Sadhik, VPPM, Wiztales, and Anand Kumar, CEO, MetaLab. Guys, can we have you on stage? Give them a round of applause. I want this to be an interactive session. I want it to be spicy. If you have any questions, if you want to get in as an audience, if you have anything to say, if you have anything to ask, please put your hand up. We'll send a mic to you and you can ask your questions and shoot directly as well. Guys, great to have you on. Web 2 to Web 3, what, when, and how, like I said, is our question. Let's start with Vanshika, who's actually been working in Web 2 as well, right? Now, Web 2 has been operational since 2006 till present day. We're still in Web 2. My first question to you is, because there's not a very clear understanding, a unanimous understanding of what Web 3 is, firstly, how do you define Web 3?
Okay. So, hi, good afternoon, I'm Vanshika. And an amazing question from from Web 2 to Web 3 transition. A lot of us have felt that, Web 3 is definitely very new terminology, technology. But a person who has been in Web 2 space, especially open source space, I've felt that the biggest, the pro of Web 3 is that it's completely decentralized. That means for me, the code base is extremely important because I've been a developer. So that gives a lot of transparency between teams and then the overall project. Secondly, we are trying to solve the blockchain dilemma, the scalability issue and the security issue. So I have also worked around security space in open source, and that's something that I also personally feel that Web3 is trying to solve. It's just not about cryptos, it's just not about metaverse, it's all together we are trying to solve the blockchain dilemma. So that's Web3 for me.
Alright, she calls it a trilemma, but then these are three key areas and features as well. So, decentralization, safety, security, and privacy also emerging as a very key narrative moving forward, especially with what's been happening all around. Chandan, how would you define Web3?
Yeah, so I think, I've seen how Web 2 started off, right? So I created my Gmail when Google had no revenues, Gmail ID at that time. So over time, they found a monetization model. Like we know how Google makes money, Facebook, Instagram, how they make money. So Web 2, I would say, is it gives the user more awareness of what is happening behind the scenes. Web 3, because in Web 2 there's a lot of information which came out many years later. After these companies became really big. In Web 3, right from the beginning, the user is more aware that who is the product, right? And what is the product. So the user is not the product in Web 3. At least right now in the model, it's not like that. And there's a buy-in and order. So it's more straightforward.
Utkarsh?
So, I think we are not all the people we are sitting here. We are coming from Web 2 world. We Web 3 से हम direct पैदा नहीं हुए हैं. So, I think Web 2 and Web 3 are not very different in terms of how it operates and how it's going to operate. I think it's a global community, and that has been my motivation to come in this space. And Web 3 on an overall term promised inclusivity, right? You will not be judged from where you come, from what race you belong, or what are your lives, what you want to wear and stuff like that. If you own your digital identity, it's yours and you can interact in any possible ways with the people around the globe. And I think there are three good things about Web3 which I would like to highlight, and I'm very bullish about that. First thing is, of course, as inclusion, as I highlighted, it would be a greatly inclusive places just based upon your interest areas, your likes and dislikes in the world. The second thing is the policy making, right? There would be global cooperation for things like what you want to do in planet, right? Do you want to do humanity should start a colony on Mars, right, or Jupiter, right? Any of those questions, right? So I think it will open the gates for digital population for the humanity. And on the third level, I think immersive education is something which is going to happen really soon. And I've met some good startups in this space very recently, and you see there are remote places where people or children don't have access to good quality of education or teachers, right? So immersive education is going to be a big impact area for Web3.
All right, that's great inputs there. What about you, Sadhik?
Hey, Sadhik here. Let me, before I start, I'll tell you experience of mine. Recently, I celebrated 14 years anniversary on Twitter. So, Twitter gave me a gift image which has a fancy cake and 14 years later on it. When I saw that, I felt, good signing it. Okay. I was an early product adopter and, I was an, whatever you call it, like an enthusiast during 2008-9 period. And I have seen how Twitter has evolved and done meetups in the early days and putting all my efforts. Keeping this story aside, the way you can participate in the success of the company is only when the company is successful, goes for an IPO, then you can purchase the stocks from any stock market or stock exchange or whatever. Okay. What is the major problem or the challenge what this Web3 solving for me is like to incentivize me early in form of tokens. If Twitter would have done this, okay, I would have minted a shitload of money by now. For me, ownership at the early stage is a bullish factor about Web3.
Ownership at an early stage, yes. New business models will also emerge. And creators will own the intellectual property of their own content vis-a-vis platforms owning it, and that becomes a key differentiator from the way things are right now, where the platforms actually leverage user data. And the users and the user data is the product, and advertisers capitalize on this data and sell the users on the basis of the data. So basically the users like a product and who's getting a free service but doesn't know that he's being milked, he or she is being milked. So anything you want to say to that? Is that attractive in terms of for creators? How is it going to change the game? And how far away are we from it? But before, just your thoughts on this before I go to.
So I think creator space, or I should say creator economy, is something that's rising. I personally don't create content in terms of graphics, but have done things on YouTube and then definitely creating a lot of stuff on Twitter. And there has been like a lot of controversy, I would say, and conversations going that how Elon Musk wants to bring the creator economy in the space, and now you could probably put your tweets and content and capitalize it, right? So definitely as us as Indians, I think it's going to take some time because we are still figuring out the Web3 space altogether, like the educational point of it. But there are protocols that are being made that people are using in order to verify their accounts and make sure that the content is not being copied. You can pay for it if you're somehow trying to use that content in terms of for your any kind of data. So it's revolutionizing for the time being, but we are still way to go when it comes to the actual decentralization and even the creator economy.
Exactly, we'll come that because the second part of the topic is first is what and then is when. So we'll come to when in a bit, but big picture first, Anand, how do you define Web3?
I would like to define Web2 versus Web3 in a very simplified manner. Let's take Metamorphosis.com. So they have created this domain name, Metamorphosis.com, GoDaddy, right? And they have a website. They have done a lot of SEO for that. A lot of PR. Do they actually own that name? They do not. So next year, if for some reason they miss renewing their name, GoDaddy will sell it to someone else. And the data also goes with that. But okay, the data is an Amazon server, whatever server,
for some reason, if they don't renew that data, whatever money they have spent behind this name, Metamorphosis.com, the PR which they have did, everything they have spent behind it, it's gone. So while we believe that we truly own the website or whatever, we don't own it because everything is centralized. If Metamorphosis.com is truly owned by Metamorphosis company or Polo, then it is a Web3 domain. So where they don't have to renew it, once they register that domain in the DNS, say undisputable domain, so some sort of a domain name in the blockchain, and they don't have to renew it forever. It's theirs, and it can be passed on to whoever it is. They truly own it, and they don't have to worry about the again server space. If they're using the Amazon server, AWS, then it's a centralized server. They control the data. If they're using IPFS, if they're using RV, then they truly own the data. So this is in my definition how I can simply define Web2 versus Web3.
Alright, so then if decentralization is the main aspect of Web3 and the main defining feature of Web3, how far are we from decentralization where everything is centralized currently? How far is it? And then why are we talking about it right now? Is it 5 years away? Is it 10 years away? Is it 3 years away? How far away from are we from it? Because there's been a lot of talk about the metaverse, and a lot of people confuse the metaverse with Web3, but the metaverse is just the front layer, the interactive layer, the user interacting with the interactive layer, whereas Web3 is the entire architecture, isn't it? And it's completely decentralized. Utkarsh.
I think Metaverse is the place where exchange will happen in digital world. Since the push has been towards digital transformation, imagine you didn't have desktops, now we have mobile phones, and now we are going to VR AR headsets where you can log in from any place of your home and just go into the office and have a very interactive experience. Think about if you say, okay Gagan, I want to give you 10 rupees or I want to give you a gift, right? And that can happen immediately. And I think that person from Google AI was also highlighting about IoT, blockchain and AI coming together. So I think adoption is already there. If you see events and festivals, they're already happening in metaverses which are decentralized or not decentralized. But people are trying to understand how we can be more easy or we can be more comfortable in the digital world, right? And as we get comfortable with it, how many people here or all of you have bought a Bitcoin or Ethereum? Can you please raise hands? Do you own cryptos? I think everybody owns here, right? So you're already part of it. You already have the ledgers of people, of the information of the people, which is decentralized network. The very coin is the information, and you're already part of the ecosystem if you have bought it. And the adoption for the coins, a lot of people have bought coins, even if they have very less amount of coins, they're already part of the network.
Actually, some key aspects of Web3 are Web3 will prioritize security and privacy over surveillance and control. I don't know who was here yesterday for the first panel, but the word command and control was used, and those who are in crypto know that eventually it's about freedom and being in charge of your own property, ownership, data, and privacy. Now, the reason why in the current global scenario, Twitter has still remained, and especially with Musk's takeover and purchase of Twitter, and one of Musk's missions is to make sure Twitter is a place of free speech, where people can express themselves without fear of dissent, where journalists who are being silenced, not just in India but across the world, are free to voice, where people can actually voice whatever they say, whatever they want to say, express whatever they want to express without fear of prosecution or cases against them or the judicial system or law enforcement turning against them. Now, identity becomes a very important aspect here, where on Twitter people can hide behind any picture and still voice their views. And there's a little element of privacy there. How important is privacy for each one of you?
Can I?
Going forward, yeah. Sorry.
Before everyone mentioned about decentralization, control, privacy, etc. I want to ask a question. How many of you bought any coin in the last 6 months? Any question? Please. Raise hands. Please participate. Any coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever. 1 year, please raise hands. I want you to participate. Right? Almost all, right? You all purchased the crypto. You would have purchased from a centralized exchange. Any one of you purchased from a truly decentralized exchange. Please raise hands. Okay, I see you. So almost maybe 10-15% of the people. We all harp about decentralization, control, privacy and stuff. But that is a very theoretical term for me.
Just speak with the mic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We still go back to Wiztales, Bitbns, which is do your KYC, you give your email, सब कुछ दे देते हैं. Okay. And again we say blockchain is the next in thing. I want others to participate in this. Like, what is your take on this one? I haven't,
Feel free to interject and feel free to cross talk and feel free to fight also.
I'm from Bitbns. This is India's biggest exchange by volume right now. So we know a lot of issues on both sides. Right? While let's say anonymity is important, on the other hand we work with the government at times, and there are very legit cases in which it's important to know the identity of the user. Right? Because, like it's cross-border and everything can be used for. So I think there's a middle ground to be achieved here, and what I think personally is that Web3 platforms by nature have to be a very efficient nature, because smart contract by nature is a very efficient model as compared to Web2. Like you deploy a smart contract, it is the user who pays on demand. Right? You don't have to keep the servers always running in Web2 itself for the main smart contract. So that way I think Web3 will be very efficient, very small teams, because anyone with an idea can spin up a Web3. Right? But when you hit the real world, which is the KYC layer, right? There, if every platform tries to do that on its own, it's not going to work out, the model will not work. So that's where I think players like exchanges will come in. So just to get just an example, we have recently spun off a new company called OnRamp. And the reason we spun it off is because we think this Web2 to Web3 opportunity is so big that if it needs a new brand, it needs to be independent of the exchange. And what it does is we handle the KYC and everything with this product. Any Web3 can embed the product, and the fiat user can buy the crypto, and all the user registration, KYC layer, any law enforcement challenges, KYC, all that is handled by it. So that's the kind of model I think will happen. So Web3 stays like independent. You have wrappers to do the real world.
I understand on the compliance and regulatory perspective. Let's keep the centralized, decentralized exchanges aside. What about a browser where the user is at absolute control? You still use Firefox, Chrome, or the regular centralized by giving all your email ID and data, right? How many of you use that Brave browser? Perfect. So yeah, I'm literally convinced of code by the way people raise hands.
I think the question is, as we humans, are we evil? Or are we still the animals? If we are allowed the freedom, we will just run behind each other, just hack the accounts, take all the money, put it into the bank, and nobody can track us, right? So yes, there are evil inside each of us, right? And for that we need to have a balanced approach. I think as Chandan highlighted, there has to be some policies, some global corporations are highlighted before also, where people can agree to few terms. Now the difference is government make those terms, right? So that's the difference which is going to happen in Web3, and that's what Web3 gives to you.
A couple of points. You mentioned browsers. Web3 is going to require new browsers, isn't it? I mean, is it going to work on the current browsers?
No. It will work on the current browser, but what I meant is, why are you dependent on the same Web 2.0 kind of browsers, which are, your control, privacy, and etc.
Yeah.
Right? Why not adopt the new Web 3.0 kind
So I think what he means to say is that adopting something like IPFS as a decentralized storage options and then you store the data. But there's also one thing that sort of comes on the user side is the self-custodial options, right? So that also needs to be kind of integrated in these Web2 browsers, because now you don't want to like really provide your information. So you have like a smart contract which is like kind of helping you to layer that particular information and match it up with the PII, that's our technology that usually security infra use. And then you're storing that data on the IPFS or like other Arcana-based ledgers.
Yeah, but you have to think of it from the user's point of view. If, you know, what is Web2? Web2 is the internet that we're currently using today. The form that we're currently using the internet today has evolved. It didn't just come up as one finished product suddenly. If you look at 2006 to 2007, when I think Facebook was 2006, around 14, 15 years. Yeah, and then the whole advent of social media with Facebook, and then how old is Instagram? About a decade? Right, just a decade. And how old are the smartphones that we use today? Just the big screen smartphones, just a decade?
2000 was the year.
Yeah, 2010 or 11, right?
जब आमिर खान का गाना आया तब देखो 2000 ज़माना आ गया. Around the same.
Yeah, so I mean, what is a decade in the context, and how have our lives changed? How has the way we do business changed? How has the way we work changed? How has the way we communicate changed in just the past 10 years? And out of these past 16 years of Web 2, if you look at Web 1, could be till 2005. Now, so my point is, Web 2 has also been an evolution, and today we're sitting here talking about it. It's a 16-year evolution. So if we come back to the point of Web 3, it's not like a finished product is going to fall from the sky. It's being created as we speak. It's you know, something which spark of an idea, and that person collaborates with someone else, and that this is how Web3 is being created as well. I was in Serbia for tomorrow, which is Europe's biggest metaverse conference in May, and there was a gathering of about 2,500 people from across Europe and across the world as well, and a confluence of people were coming together just out of COVID and meeting physically and creating new things in the metaverse and Web3. So some of the smartest minds in the world are currently working on the metaverse and on Web3. If you look at crypto, some totally decentralized projects like Polkadot, Chainlink as well already are designed with the future, with Web3 in mind, by guys with integrity, not guys like Sam, like SPF, yeah, who were doing the opposite and pretending to be a humanitarian and doing exactly what banks do. So there are some good guys in the space as well. Vitalik is one guy, you know. I could say Gavin Wood is another guy. Can you name any other guys in the Web3 space who you have confidence in terms of building the infrastructure? Because unless a highway is built, then everything else can be built on the highway. So the important thing is, who's building the highway right now?
I know a couple of companies, Zblocks for one. So they are building a whole infrastructure to make the transition from the Web2 companies, the large companies. Take for example, Bata shoes. They can create their NFTs, give loyalty, membership passes, but their CRM is 30, 40 years old and their account base is very traditional. How can their CRM or account speak to crypto data? So I know there are big companies who are working towards making this transition for otherwise legacy companies very easy. And when they come into the picture, everyone otherwise called as traditional companies without much understanding of blockchain, without having a whole blockchain team behind them. Not everyone, not Bata is not like Reebok where they can put a blockchain team and do R&D, right? But if it is easy for them to sort of connect to the blockchain data, speak in fiat to them, and in turn, if this system is speaking in fiat to their existing CRM. So I know these companies who are already working on that, and they are on the market maybe next year, about March-ish. Then all these companies are just going to jump in and create their own one-click cryptos, add membership passes, 10% discounts, loyalty, whatever it is. So that I know Zblocks is one company, and DTCC, for example. DTCC is the company which processes all the transactions which happens in Nasdaq US. Right? They are testing their own blockchain sort of replica So they're looking at blockchain to handle their otherwise non-blockchain transaction right now. The project is called Project Taiwan. So when a company like DTCC is attempting to do something in blockchain, so they are the ones who are like the bank, they are almost equal to Fed in the US. So they handle every data when you buy a share or stock in the US. And they are tangling with the blockchain system to handle the transaction. I'm sure other massive companies are also doing that. By 2023, we'll see all these companies going live and adoption will be much faster.
So you're saying 2023. Anyone has anything else to add to this?
Yeah, so just to add to that, right? So we have the new players in the market who do a lot of innovation and everything. But what we saw in Web2 was that we got a Google, but we also saw Microsoft adapt, right? And still it's among the biggest companies. So they had Windows Office and now they have Azure and all sorts of things. So here also I think the big adoption will also come from existing companies. Like Instagram has made NFTs like on Polygon, right? That's a huge thing. Nike has launched NFTs on Polygon. So these guys who are established players in the B2C business, right? Because at the end of the day, like it's also retail facing. When we are trying to get the user base, it's about running the business. How do you get the user onboarded very quickly on your platform and the stickiness aspect, right? And eventually over time, what happens? The infra layer goes into the back end. Right? The business layer becomes more and more important. Like, as more money flows into the industry, we see users. So I think we are saying that we'll see new companies, of course, coming up. Like Polygon is a very good example. Right? It's made in Bangalore. And it's global. Like JP Morgan, Nike, Instagram, everyone has that. But I think the big user growth may come from existing players adapting to it. That could be another.
Yeah. So when you say existing players, so it's like, so if Pepsi's come up and said we're going to definitely do something in the metaverse, so is Nike, so is Adidas.
I don't agree with this. Sandbox and Decentraland are the largest metaverses, and they have less than 1,000 daily active users on the platform.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna happen, right? Google, Facebook, Amazons of the world owns your data right now.
Yeah.
Now people are mining, right? Anybody can set up a farm right now, right? And still there are big players also, small players also, and now when Bitcoin or Ethereum will become the primary exchange for or the currency, right? You'll see a lot of farms or mining farms will evolve around, or bigger farms will come around different centers or hotspots or in different places around the world. And companies who want to rule, I think a lot of people don't know about the cooling systems, right? We need greater cooling systems. A lot of farms these days are in the older companies like Russia or Iceland, right? We need better cooling systems, and Boston Technology Group is working around that to design super energy efficient cooling systems, because they also need energy, right, to cool, right? So I think that's how it's gonna emerge and come into it.
Yeah, but if you look at it from the user experience point of view, like you asked me, and I think from the point of view of the users, like we could be sitting here and talking about Web3 and those who are in crypto, which is 2% of Indians, and 4.2% of the global population is currently in crypto and invested in crypto. The amount of people who are in Web3 or building and planning Web3 is a small, very minuscule percentage of the population. So the user doesn't know what Web3 is. The user currently is surrendering his data. Any app which is downloaded asks for data, is surrendering his data just to be able to use an app. Everything is totally centralized. Blockchain technology is not at a stage where everybody's just adopted it. And these three are prerequisites. Privacy is not given as much importance right now. Surveillance and control is the current norm. So if Web3 is the opposite of these things, moving to where, when, the second part of our question today. The first was what, and the second is when. It's completely the opposite of what is currently the norm. So what are we talking about here? I mean, how are things going to change? Are governments suddenly going to surrender control? Governments who are stifling an industry and saying, just using two words, money laundering, and are they going to change their stance to stifle growth and people's power of their own funds in their own hands? Are they going to surrender control? Are these big big tech is, are they going to surrender control? Is big finance going to surrender control? So what's going to happen? And how long a period are we talking about? Because we could be talking hypothetically, but practically, what do you think? How long is it going to take?
I think we all the people present here want to earn money, right? And we all want to build businesses, and Web3 is new opportunity, right? And we don't have to rely upon governments or Amazon or Nikes of the world to take this step. We can do it right now, and people are doing it. Nobody knows to tell him to do, right? So he did it, and it happened, right? And you can see, right, Sandeep also from India and becoming a global player. So talking about when, I think cryptos have already penetrated the market, and it's going to revolutionize the economic system, and everything runs around economy, everything runs around money, because that's how you exchange value with people, right? So the adoption is already there, and in terms of coming into the digital transformation, when you also feel it, right? When you also can do transactions that way, that is really easy and integrated with the AI, or you automatically get choices and you do the transactions with ease, right? That's gonna take some time, because have you been to Gucci's Metaverse? It's fucked up. You cannot understand anything, right? So it's gonna take a lot of time, and we need to dumb down things. Then only it's gonna happen. And in India, if you see, 97% of the people forget about Metaverse. They've not experienced air of flights, right? They've never been in flights, or they've never taken a air travel. And as you highlighted about YouTube, everybody knows YouTube in villages and towns and everywhere, right? It's simple, right? Simple to use. So we need to make it very, very UI friendly. Then only this transformation or this evolution can happen.
I think that's a very good point. And I think the other side of that is, like, even if you're building in India out of India, our thought process needs to be global. Because end of the day, right now, the Indian user base who can adapt into this environment is very, very small. And we have the best example, Polygon. Right from the beginning, they thought global. If needed, they relocated, they moved the office to Dubai, whatever is needed. Right? So, and in Web3, because by nature every blockchain is global. Right? So that's a huge opportunity. Right from the outside, we can build a global product. Again, and the user base needs to be global initially. And just to add to that, so see, we know in India we have a relatively stable government system. Right? We have RBI, which has been in existence, a proven institution. We have the government, we have election, free and fair election, more or less, etc. But for every stable country in the world, how many unstable countries are there in the world? Right? 8 or 10, maybe more. For every stable, let's say if you take rupee, I mean, rupee depreciates around 4% a year. It's okay, it's not a huge problem. But for every stable currency or semi-stable currency, how many Zimbabwean dollars are there, liras are there, etc. So again, the history of the world is that there is a use case for Bitcoin in terms of store or value, even though it's volatile. And it's volatile because we don't have a central bank backing it. Right? We don't have RBI which goes and buys at 83 and stops the rupee from dropping, etc. And on the other hand also, on the blockchain layer as well. So again, privacy, etc. You might be, I might be okay with handing over my private data to the Indian government. But a person in, let's say, Iraq may not be okay with that. Right? So again...
Yeah, but we all know that as far as our private data is concerned, I mean, Aadhaar was being asked to be linked with the with banks, and all kinds of phishers and scamsters have all our banking details. As Indians, we get. Is there anybody who doesn't get scam calls or calls from unauthorized phone calls despite registering on a do not disturb registry? Anybody put your hands up who does not get any disturbance calls on your phone?
There is one person who doesn't.
He's also put his hand down. So there's not a single person in this room who doesn't get unauthorized calls. Okay, I've had a case where people who've called me have had my bank account number and my data showing on a screen. So our data is not safe. Our financial data currently is not safe. All sorts of elements, if any cybercrime is committed in India, try and get your money back. Is there, considering we're living in digital India, Is there a proper recourse to get justice for cybercrime currently? So what age are we currently living in? How safe are we? How safe is our data? If we ask, and how safe is our financial data and our financial information? Now, plus, if any law enforcement agency can conduct tax raids on anybody, or any kind of raids on anybody, or any kind of financial attacks on anybody, then we're truly not safe. This is an incentive for each user, for each citizen to say, okay, yes, I look forward to Web3. What can Web3 give me that I don't currently have right now? How can Web3 improve my life? And most importantly, what drives everything is money. How can Web3 help me make more money? How can it change the way I do business? Anyway, the way we work and live has changed since COVID. You know, in the past 2.5 years, where a lot of people are very happy just working remotely and are not going to go back to the old way. How many of you work remotely in this room? Put your hands up. And how many don't want to go back to the old way? Okay, only 6 hands don't go back to the old way. So yeah. So that also talks to me about human connection and physical connection. So if human connection and human contact and physical connection is important, then how many people would want to again put their heads down and wear headsets and go into the metaverse?
Have you seen movie Wall-E? The robot goes to another planet or spaceship, right? There are humans who are lying on chairs and just wearing headsets, and that's it. That's their lifestyle. They just lie down on chairs. Their stomach comes up, and it's like that. So it's about how. It's not about what Web3 can do for you. People are here to earn money, right? It's new tech. It's about you. How much do you want to allow Web3 into your lives, right? Where do you want to take Web3 or digital evolution or digital transformation into your lives? To which extent you want to ease your life or make it comfortable?
But people don't know what Web3 is. Right now, they just heard something Web3 saying, "यार मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है Web3 क्या है, हम 2.0 वाले हैं."
I think Web3 so digital transformation is the word. We all want to live digitally a parallel life.
But we are already living digitally.
Let me. Web2, Web3 is not a digital switch or something which you say from today we are Web2 and tomorrow it will be Web3. For me, it's like an evolution. As a product guy, right now I believe like we are at Web2 or 2 or 3 or something, right? Let me give you one example. MetaMask is machine readable, not human readable. Connect your Google, sign up with Google or something. If you see, that's a human readable, right? It's super clear. If there are any creators or founders here, make the entire systems or build your products for humans, not for machines. That evolution, okay. Going back to the question, like how many work from home here, like right, remote work, okay. How many work from home before COVID? Right? So COVID was a catalyst to speed up the work from home ideology, right? Earlier your manager will say like if you say work from home, unless you don't justify with the right thing, they don't approve it. Right now it is like a regular law. I believe there will be some catalyst, and that catalyst, one of that would be like regulations, government support, innovation, and like a lot of things which will speed up this process. 1 to 2, it took almost close to 10 years. We were like, started from Wikipedia to social bookmarking sites and social networking and, the collaborative tools. Now it is more of dApps, virtual worlds, in the next 2-3 years, I believe it will not be like a switch or something, it will be like a grey area where you will start seeing people adopting both fiat money and crypto. You will see, say for example, a large e-commerce site will give you an option where you can buy using a crypto or fiat money. And slowly, as the usage increases, they will move towards the crypto space, like ATMs. ATM was a hot topic 7 years, and that was the easiest way to withdraw money. And mobile adoption and mobile banking killed the ATM market. Right now the ATM market is like, 5%, 10% of the total transactions happening in the banking sector. Now, it's not just that overnight it happens, it's an evolution. And my humble request to all the creators, make it human readable, not machine readable. People don't understand what is have you tried MetaMask, signing with a MetaMask, like a gibberish code comes into the top and says sign. पता नहीं मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, sign
I think a lot of people use their funds with MetaMask also.
मैं sign कर देता हूँ. Okay. Keep it in a very simple way, explain him that you are signing this for this purpose, right? You are the creators, please make it your products human readable. This is my take on the Web3. The more you do it, the better it would be, or the better we can adopt or speed up the Web3 adoption.
That's a very, very good point. And in all the videos, right? So, when you're building a Web3 product, right, is it only for Web3 guys who know how to use wallets? Or do you want a bigger audience? Right? Because the 100x audience is outside that. Right? So that has to be clear right for a product stage. So when you're building a Web2, see, if you start off building a product and your initial users and the guys who want to build the product are all blockchain guys who know how to use wallets, will your product be optimized for the Web2 audience? I don't think so. Right? So, few things like login. So let's say wallet connect. That's one extreme in which the user has the custody. Now we are seeing hybrid models in which the platform creates the wallet for behalf of the users. Few platforms, what we are seeing is they have integrated social login. So let's say you take a Facebook login, which has a unique mobile number behind it. Unlike Gmail login, which has email. So email can be spam. You might have issues. But if you take a login which has a unique mobile number behind it, then if you integrate it, then there is a bigger likelihood of having a unique user. Right? So their onboarding becomes smoother. Fiat on-ramp. Right? So end of the day, if you're not a free model, Web2 runs on a free model. Hence the huge user base. Right?
Because the user is the product.
User is the product, right? In Web2. So yeah. And so end of the day, if you want Web2 users to buy into your platform, like once they get onboarded, in order to use the platform, if they need to spend a little money, it could be nominal. So their money is in fiat, right? So you have fiat on-ramp products, but those social login and this on-ramp, I think, need to be part of the product right from the beginning. It cannot, because only when you get those users right at the beginning into the product will evolve in a way so that it's made for the Web2 audience. You can't build a product for Web3 and then just hope that it works for Web3.
So one very, very core thing about Web3, and let's not think about the governance part or the government part and the money aspect, it's the utility. When we say that when we are creating a product in Web3, that means that there's a utility functionality already added to the product, right? As you're talking about the social login, the fiat on-ramps, off-ramp, account abstraction and everything. I'm not going to go with the project going on promoting that, but how Economy does it, they are trying to solve the user experience problem and the onboarding process of it, right? That's one thing. Another thing is when you say utility, that doesn't mean tokenization. A very, very crucial result that came out of between the FTX versus Binance thing is that you do not really need to have tokens in order to have a utility. That could be one thing. Not every project requires token, and the way you define the utility is a very different parameter. So that's a very, very important key thing to take care of in Web3. You're creating utility, you're creating an experience. Even when we say metaverse, even when we say we are having NFTs launch and airdrops, there is an experience involved in that and some added utility to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think each user is looking for an improved, enhanced experience. So when we use new phones, that's exactly what we're doing. We're enjoying new tech and new experiences, right? It's an example of how a simple thing like a phone device, which is in our hands, when we use something new and we like the experience, we adopt it. So I think that's a really good point there, that user experience and whether innovative and new experiences are going to be offered to current Web2 users, which is the current population, which is the entire population. If a new experience can onboard the population to even one aspect of Web3 that can open the doors for other aspects as well. And then it will probably be something like this, where someone does something which is simple, but which really offers an enjoyable user experience or a new user experience or a great benefit in terms of money. Great financial benefit. So before we go on to Web very quickly, is there an exciting new business model that excites you about Web3, where people can actually earn money in a better way than what they're doing now using the internet?
Yeah, there are, so take one example. So gym memberships. So we all register in the gym and we take memberships, right? So 80% of the people who buy that, they don't turn up to the gym after 2 months. And what happens is they lose that 20K whatever they paid them. Imagine this gym membership was NFTs, right? Then I could buy these gym memberships, and if I'm not using it, I can put it in the open market and someone else can sort of buy and continue using that. Subscriptions, any subscription, Netflix, even in games now, in the Steam and all that, we sell user IDs and passwords behind the screens, right? So now any sort of subscription models, if they become NFTs, then there's a secondary market opening up. So if I don't use this particular subscription, then I'm not losing the money which I have paid for 1 year. I'm going to put it on a secondary market and someone else can or may buy it. There's an option that I may get. I'm going to lose all the money.
It's like sharing a Netflix password.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You share a gym membership. Yeah. So that's one thought. But I was talking about something bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Oyo was trying to do that. Oyo launched, you can book a room for 2 or 3 hours, right? Now think about if you are going to a hotel, you just need room for 4 or 5 hours, and you just want to sell the other hours, right? And actually you can bid that kind of amount or kind of the fraction of time you want to vacate the hotel, right? And you can sell it off, right, on a digital platform.
Before you come in, I was talking about something bigger in terms of conceptually, as creators or artists who are creating right now. If something's being put on Instagram, I'll come to you. If something is put on Instagram or on Facebook, that content is being, or on YouTube as well, that content is being leveraged by the platforms and ad revenue is being paid to the creator. So Web3 takes away that power, right? Which they have to shut down your Instagram account at any time and you lose your entire stream of income if you're relying on Instagram. So is there a model where as a creator, the creator owns the property, which is also it comes to intellectual property as well, and can leverage and do you have any experience with this where there's a new way for creators to make money, much more money than they're currently doing now, and get the lion's share of the money, and also for artists to have the lion's share of the money of their work instead of middlemen, because isn't the basic idea cutting out the middlemen?
So, not really, because I'm not in the space of the graphics or side of the creation, because like right now OpenSea supports that thing for the creators, actually the artistic creators.
Yeah.
But there's something on the architectural side of Web2, which is the node executors and validators. They have rewards when you verify the transactions and you're like letting that transaction go by the right process. So that's one way that people can like earn money and like, actually not money, but like tokenized amount or maybe a reward against it. So that's based on a particular chain. I think there are payment platforms that are trying to do that, and there are protocols like Lens protocol recently.
Did Facebook plan to charge 70% for NFT sales? Yeah. So it's an example of the current big tech. So if Facebook, if on OpenSea as an artist, if I want to put something on and I set a royalty figure, and each time that changes hands, I get a royalty, which is better than a physical agent in the physical world. But if Facebook is changed its name to Meta and is planning on charging 70%, then how is it going to be any different?
There will still be agents like Facebook or any other platform, and OpenSea is also an agent, right? Anyways, so it's upon the creator, right? You have to decide if you want to be on OpenSea or is your audience on Facebook, and you are open to give 70% of the amount, right? So the greater power is with the creator now. I think it's just that.
Okay, so very quickly, what has been discussed. We've discussed where we are right now, and we've defined it very clearly. When, very quickly, how long? Web3.
See, Web3 adoption will happen when the users will not or need not understand Web3. So it has to be as simple as that. They only have to reap the benefits of Web3, what it can offer.
So give me a time period.
2023-24.
That's brilliant. That's just 18 months away.
It's a long year. Like I will bet on 4 to 5 years. Not
Okay, so you're saying 5 years. So we're in 2022 end right now. So 27, 28 is what you're saying. Okay.
So I believe it's 2 to 3 years, but then there is another important thing. As per Viztales, the roadmap that we took out for the Ethereum, there are going to be a lot of changes that will be coming up. So I should say that it will keep on changing the entire infra every 3 to 4 years, because like this year we had Ethereum merge. Now the upcoming time we're going to have some other set of Ethereum coming out. So there's a lot of things that is going to come. We just cannot predict years, but more of a roadmap that where we want to go.
But if you have to put a timeline on it?
I mean, there is no end to it. Technology
there's no end, but there's a beginning where we're going to see some visible aspects, and then there's going to be an evolution, right? Because like I said, even Web2 has been an evolution. It's not like it's just it's not a final finished product suddenly on a particular day. But what you're saying, what, 3 years? 3 years.
Yeah.
Chandan?
I think I agree with Vanshika around that, because I think the big adoption is going to come from mobiles. Right? So right now on mobiles, Web3 doesn't really work. Like even a basic MetaMask logging into a browser. Right? So what we are seeing, a lot of innovation happening in mobile wallets. Like the mobile apps themselves are becoming like ecosystem apps, like super apps. So they have a list of dApps, projects within the app. They have an inbuilt browser. So that will probably what will happen is these mobile apps will become really powerful gatekeepers of which apps to list. But that is, I guess, inevitable. So I think I agree with Vanshika on the benefit.
You say 3 years?
Okay.
What do you Utkarsh?
I think it's already there. It's late majority time. It's time to adopt and build models around that. Figure out your comfortable area, how as a person you want to represent on digital world, how you can leverage yourself as a creator, because we are creating content. Even if you're sitting idle here, you are also creating content. So how do you want to position yourself? It's already has started. It's the adoption time. And talking about metaverse or digital interactions or digital or maybe economy, right? How you get loans from bank? It's gonna take, for loans I think it will get around like 10 years or 15 years maybe, right? And for metaverses, I think it's take a long time if some disruptions don't happen.
Alright, let's take a question from Ashna in the audience.
Actually, I wasn't going in for a question, but
Okay.
when you asked a question about the most innovative business model that you would have come across on your work takeaway. So first of all, I'll just explain what I do. I'm in the legal field. I work with a very passionate founder team that helps Web3 startups like you build bridges and make sure the ecosystem is always inclusive and nurturing. One such business model that I came across is something that works on freedom of speech. Right now, the news channels / newspapers that we see every day, they're probably run by the same management. Like Bangalore Times and something, the Hindu, both have the same management and probably even the same editor. We just have two probably different Gmail accounts that functions there. So giving the credit back to the writers and making sure that your story is good and written and you own it on the Web3 domain is what we're working towards.
Yes, and that's where Musk is playing a big role, because today in India, if you put a video on anywhere in the world and if YouTube wants to take it down, they can take it down. In India, your Twitter account can be suspended by government pressure, and your Facebook account can also be closed and suspended. This is the way things currently stand right now.
I'll just drop a suggestion. So what we are honestly fighting about is control and value. We don't know how to value and we want to fight for control. So who does the control belong to? If you are going to depend again on the hierarchy that the Web2 companies develop for the community, for both commercial B2B and B2C, we can't really expect them to change the ethics. Here what happens is that on the Web3 platform, when everybody here is coming from different backgrounds, from different geographies, on a global platform, they're able to create for global customers. That changes the entire game. So it becomes very important as to what you want to say to the government and how you want to make policy changes.
Okay, so we've highlighted, certain things which are necessary for Web3, which is decentralization and obviously security and safety of user data and privacy as well. We're far away from that right now. We're in the middle of a bear market, but great projects are being built, infrastructure is being built. As we speak, the brightest minds in the world are working on this, and co-creating and collaborating is happening already. Whether the first breakthrough happens in terms of with some help from Instagram or Facebook, we'll have to see. But like you said, there has to be an entry point which in my opinion has to be softer and not combative. Something maybe in art or music or in an area which everybody uses, which is not, you don't have to fight the banks for music or for art. So I see art and music as an area which everybody consumes and which can happen on the phone, and something can happen in that area which can actually open the door to everything else, which is already being readied as we speak. So I've got a maximum of 5 years here from Sadhik. Utkarsh, did you put a timeline?
I'm already here.
Oh, you said you're already here. Okay, so great. Anyone in the audience wants to ask a question or say something here? Yeah. Just can we get a mic here?
Hello, my name is Vishal. I have a doubt. See, in India, it's almost 40 to 50 years we have the stock market exchange like the BSE or NSE where we trade stocks. And even crypto, NFT is all about trading. End of the day, creating NFT, trading it on a platform and making money. Right now, people who are trading in stock market actively are maybe 10 crores. There's a data from Zerodha, I think, where they get 10 crore demat accounts. So, a thing which is there in India from last 50 to 60 years, only hardly 10% of the, we can say 7 or 8% of the country's population is on this place. So, where do you see?
Even less than 1% of the people earn more than 5 lakhs per year.
Yeah. So, when coming to crypto, the blockchain or the NFT part of it, where do you see people in India getting adopted to it? Because people generally have an opinion on the stock market saying that it's fugazi, it's not something, it's not hard work, it is easy money. But actually, in terms of stock market or the crypto world, it is not easy money, it is smart money. When you learn, when you try to see the demographics of the companies, what is their roadmap in terms of crypto. So my doubt is how will the adoption take place? Because last thing, the people who are in the crypto space are usually the millennials or the Gen Z. We don't have majority of the people coming from say who are like 40 years or 45 plus age group. It is usually on an average it is 18 plus and it stops till 35. So can you please?
You're talking about stock market, right? I have some very intelligent friends who are from one of the top global firms, consulting firms from the globe. They don't have a demat account. And who are them? Girls, right? Because girls, lot of girls, women don't have their demat account or they don't operate their own finances. The finance, because they have seen their mothers or in their family, fathers running the finances, right? So, in terms of adoption, there is a challenge in every sector as of now also, right? It's about you. If you want to be in crypto or do you want to adopt it, it's going to take long time for 80% of the global population to be on crypto, right? So it will happen gradually. But yes, people are there. There is even 4% is a great volume, right?
Okay, anyone else?
See, stock market has been evolved over a period of 45 years with the help of government and regulations, compliance and stuff. And also, there was an opportunity for you as a regulator to look through other countries for success factors, replicate. I'm talking about the Bombay Stock Exchange and others, right? They've evolved over a period. Okay, it evolved from a paper-based trading to what we are today in terms of digital, right? The similar kind of, will it take 40 years for NFT to be like traded? No, it will be like faster. But can you guarantee how long? No one can. It's just based on some catalyst or something, some global revolution where, everyone gets into saying like, Doge was a revolution for me. I'll elaborate on it. The moment Elon Musk tweeted something, Doge went up by 1x, 2x or whatever, and everyone wants to make money. They don't give a, they don't want to understand what Doge is all. Paisa lagana hai, make money. Tweets, make money, right? So this was a factor. Tweet was a factor. Elon Musk tweet was a factor for Doge to be what it is today, right? And in terms of evolution, for NFTs or the cryptocurrencies or anything, it is, I strongly believe that influencers have an upper hand. Okay, this is my take on what I have, over the last 15 years I've built products, basically Web 2.0 products. I can talk about it for days together, but the fundamental shift what I've seen with Web 3 and Web 2 is, in Web 2 it was build the product, then build the community, load them with money and make them addicted or hooked to the product. And Web 3 is the other way around, build the community, pay your MVP with them, and then incentivize early enough in this entire equation or your journey, and then build the product. So that shift was like, it took me a long time for me to unlearn this thing. That like whatever I have done for my 15 years is like useless before the Web3 started.
Okay, quick how answers from Chandan and Anand.
Yeah, so you raised Zerodha, which is an excellent example. Again, made in Bangalore. Right? So Mumbai was the hub. We started out of Bangalore and now it's the biggest broker. And the way Zerodha evolved was not going after existing customers. They got new young customers who wanted lower cost, excellent platform, app-based, like HTML app, right outside. And they didn't spend a single rupee on any ads anywhere. So you will find Zerodha on any holding any ads. So organic business, bootstrap organic, in for the long. Where the explosion happened was when Jio got this eKYC. That if you go back to Jio number, we got the Aadhaar KYC. Initially biometric, eventually OTP based. So that's where all this, the user base of the Zerodha is up 8 to 10 times in like after the eKYC started, right? Because onboarding, so frictionless onboarding. But bulk of the user base of Zerodha is not those who migrated from other brokers, it's a new base. So Web3 also, like our user base are probably doing like in school right now, right? Or doing engineering. So we have to be in for the long haul.
Your question was about stock markets adopting to Web3 in India.
Yeah, I mean like
Gen Z.
Even the stock market being around in our country for the last 40 to 50 years, there's hardly any adoption rate. So seeing crypto right now, crypto or the NFT or the blockchain space.
So the shares in the traditional stock market. Now in the Web3 you have tokens, which means they are stocks. From India you cannot release tokens.
My question is all about adoption. It's something which is there since so long, like 40 to 50 years, and it's so easy to grasp. It's not like some great, it's not so difficult. It's still taking a lot of time. Even people still have certain.
You're saying only a certain percentage of Indians invest in the stock market,
exactly,
and have the funds to invest in the stock market, and even the knowledge to invest in the stock market. But I'll just respond to what you said. crypto adoption is being led by the 18 to 35-year-olds.
Exactly.
And as you said, Gen Z, and that the amount of people, of Indians in crypto, investment in crypto increased 10 times during 2021 and was exploding at that point of time. And money was flowing out of banks and the stock market, which is when the RBI got scared and said, we don't want this to happen. And then a stop was put on it and the tax and everything, and there was some success which was met. So obviously, how many of you in this room feel free? Put your hand up. How many of you in this room feel free? Exactly. So the silence speaks for itself and show of hands speaks for itself. We are living in a current situation. We're not. Everybody's not free to even speak about it or write about it, right? That is where we currently are. But the fact is that, I was saying this earlier as well, youth leads change wherever, anywhere in the world. So the youth, our parents' generation, senior citizens don't lead change. Youth leads change. So to answer your question, in a country like India, where will it actually come from? Well, it already happened in 2021. And then there were some things which happened by the powers that actually put a plug on it, and the bear market and the global recession has happened.
Can I add up to that?
Yeah.
The 2.6 trillion is a huge number, right? But stock market is valued more than 100 trillion, right? So, बहुत बड़ा revolution change, means bigger revolution for even younger or Gen Z generation to adopt crypto directly and not going to stock market, go to stock market and then come to crypto, right? Your question was that when the threshold happens and crypto crosses the stock market or crypto comes on the level of stock market, when stock market is not that, people are not very comfortable with stocks, right?
Well, actually crypto is already happening and there are governments in the world who are pro-crypto or slightly more pro-crypto, and there are governments who are not. So that's obviously the fight, right? That's obviously the fight. Otherwise, everybody would just be racing ahead and not have any doubts or anything of any kind. So that's what everybody in crypto is currently facing, and everybody in Web3 is also facing. But to sum this up, great things are being built as we speak. Does everybody here believe the future is bright for Web3? Yes? Do I get a yes?
Yeah, in terms of digital population on our global scale.
Quickly, we're the last minute before lunch.
I think the models will adapt and we'll get a marketplace of Web3 models, and eventually it will work out.
Okay, Vanshika?
Lot of use cases are about to come in higher in education and even in business models. So we have to look out for what is happening.
Okay, brilliant.
I bet on user education and community aspect, and very bullish on it.
It is bright, but it's not looking easy.
It's bright, but it's not looking
Easy.
well. Nothing worthwhile is ever easy. So let's end on that note. Thank you so much. You've been a wonderful panel. Let's have a big round of applause for them and for all of us.
Manish, I decided poetry. I just wanted to like. Sure. So it's a 2-3 lines. If you want to, guys, please. So I'll recite in Hindi. You can use Google Translate. If it's good, can I do that? Okay. So it's about Web3 is all about confusion. It's all techie thing, right? So I just wrote about that. लाइफ के कदम कदम पर तुम्हारे हल्के हल्के पाँव हो, उलझी उलझी दुनिया में तुम सुलझी सुलझी छाँव हो, तुम हो सर्दी की धूप, तुम तो मेरा प्यारा गाँव हो, उलझी उलझी दुनिया में तुम सुलझी सुलझी छाँव. So I think we need to simplify things and make it easy for people.
And a good round of applause.